violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Violence at city parks, like last year's stabbing and shooting at Piedmont Park, is a top concern among Atlanta city leaders. And one councilman is now demanding action on a park security plan. Fox 5's Morris Diggs tells us what Councilman Michael Bond wants to see happen.
The death of Katie Jeunesse last July sparked a lot of conversation about security at Piedmont and, in fact, parks throughout the city. Police officers already knew what you did not know. Cameras, where they're up, didn't work, and there are no dedicated police patrols. Bright sunshine can make you feel like spending some time in the park, even in January.
And listen to what he said, man. He made a great point. He said that the cameras in the park were not working when the Piedmont Park stabbing happened last year, where the girl and her dog got ran up on. Okay? The cameras weren't working. And there weren't any police there. That was around the time where the protests had occurred. Atlanta police were overwhelmed with attending to those protests in the street. Even the protests in Atlanta got violent. They burned down a Wendy's during the Rayshard Brooks incident. So there are a lot of things going on that had the attention of Atlanta Police Department. Not to mention, you know, those other dangerous parts of the city where the super gremlins reside in mass. All right. But now they started to creep downtown in these local parks. And you don't want to be out there in Piedmont Park when the sun goes down. You just don't.
But will there be any eyes on you, any police coverage to protect you?
When the situation happened where the person got stabbed, I kind of was like, I don't want to go to Piedmont anymore. I didn't really feel safe, so I stopped going, but we decided to come out here today.
Maya Brown Bowden did not know Katie Jeunesse, but she has not forgotten the report of the incident. A brutal stabbing that ended her life, her dog Bowie also killed. At Anderson Park, in the northwest section of the city, a teen boy was shot to death at the pool. And there was a
Wow. Can't even go swimming in the A.
shooting at Piedmont Park. But an Atlanta officer got to the male victim in time to apply a tourniquet, possibly saving his life. Michael Bond, a veteran city councilman, spearheaded legislation approved last September to do a security upgrade at all the parks.
We were assured over and over that January would be the day. So I guess my next question is, what has happened in these 4 months that has prevented this from being done? Can you elaborate on why this still has not taken place? Because they would say all they needed was to deal with the camera issue.
The reason why it hasn't taken place is because you have a lot of multicultural leadership in Atlanta. That's what I'll say. And when that happens in a city, we all know that some of those funds end up mismanaged and just vanishing out of thin air. So, and that happens with all politicians, but especially in these Democrat-run cities with the quota hiring that they got going on in these cities. It's like they always mismanage the funds. The money never gets put back into infrastructure, and by the time it does get pushed back into the infrastructure, the whole area is too unsafe to even invest in.
And now you're saying that they don't even have the people lined up.
Right now we don't have the staff to be able to dedicate it with on duty, so we're trying to make it where that it's going to be a part-time job.
Deputy Chief, a sister, they don't have enough staff. She's telling y'all they don't have enough staff.
Dunn says it's not sufficient to have periodic patrols go into and out of the park. A dedicated force, he believes, is necessary to improve the margin of safety.
Wow, so we need a force we need a dedicated force at Lenox. We need a dedicated force at Piedmont Park. We need a dedicated police force at Buckhead. I mean, when are we going to call a spade? Because folks were just cheering defund the police in the A. They're still cheering defund the police in the A. They are. So there has to come a point where you start looking at these situations and saying, hey, maybe we need a lot more funding into the police. Maybe we need to stop giving them a hard time when they're trying to do their job. Maybe we could just, you know, when they catch a super gremlin, not assume that it's police brutality and just assume that they're getting what they deserve.
We've been waiting. Citizens have been waiting. Frankly, we thought that this could have been handled 4 months ago. But we were patient with the administration then, and apparently they've done absolutely nothing.
That deputy chief's boss, Rodney Bryant, acknowledged there's plenty of work yet to be done, including identifying enough officers to be part of a dedicated park force and finding the money to pay those officers. From Midtown, I'm Morse Diggs, Fox 5 News.
On top of breaking news at 6, police on the scene of a shooting in northwest Atlanta where a 6-month-old child is dead. Good evening, I'm Russ Spencer.
And I'm Christine Spiro in for Courtney Bryant tonight. This story is just heartbreaking. Fox 5's Rob D'Arienzo joins us live from the scene where that happened. And Rob,
so guys, we just had an 11-month-old shot in the face in New York City. She lived, but she had to undergo brain surgery. And now we have a 6-month-old in Atlanta, Georgia, Fulton County, killed.
Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens came to that scene right after the shooting, and in the past hour, he had some very tough words for whoever shot that baby.
That's right, Christine. It's just really an unimaginable story, unimaginable pain for this family tonight. A 6-month-old baby shot and killed over what police tell us was an argument between 2 adults. Now, investigators say that this investigation will last.
Ho, 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 ho. You mean 2 super gremlins?
Well into the night. I want to tell you what we know right now. Police say that the call came in just before 3 p.m. this afternoon on Anderson Avenue. They say when they got on scene, they discovered that baby had been shot. Medics rushed the 6-month-old to Grady Memorial Hospital, where doctors were unable to save his or her life. The police chief tells us that the child was not the intended target. He said the shooting was the result of that argument between 2 adults. That baby was riding down the street when the bullet struck, and now the focus is turning to finding out whoever did this.
And guys, it doesn't matter if the baby was a target or not, okay? These super gremlins, they just don't care. They will shoot in any direction, at anybody. They shoot like running away from the scene. Y'all seen the clips in the beginning of my videos, man. These super gremlins are, I mean, they couldn't hit a target if it was 3 feet away from them.
As you mentioned, Mayor Andre Dickens came to the scene a short time ago. Take a listen to the harsh words that he had for the suspect.
This hurts. This is a 6-month-old child that we've lost. And so we have a lot of folks on the scene. We're going to solve this case, and we're going to bring justice to this life.
What about stopping it in the future? Like Mayor Eric Adams said, this ain't going to happen again. He said we're going to solve this case, so he's not over-promising, because I think they might have it sewed up. Maybe. If there's somebody in the community who can cooperate, which we know that's not likely. I mean, he might be over-promising with saying that he's going to even solve this case, to be honest. But, man, it's wild that you can't even go nowhere with your babies without fearing that you're going to go somewhere and it's going to be 2 super gremlins on demon time.
Our investigators are working leads right now, and hopefully we'll bring this case to resolution relatively soon.
Take a listen to this. So far, already in 2022, we're not even through January, there have been 3 babies shot in the city of Atlanta.
Wow. Woo! Not even through January, and 3 babies shot in the city of Atlanta. Atlanta is going to hell in a handbasket, and we are all bearing witness.
Including this incident, this marks the 2nd child that lost their life to gun violence. Now, be sure to come back at 10. We're going to continue to work this story throughout the night and bring you the latest details. Live in Bankhead, Rob DiRienzo, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, terribly upsetting, but thank you so much for that live update, Rob.
Breaking news, a baby, a 6-month-old child caught in the crossfire, killed in a drive-by shooting late this afternoon. Now, that shooting happened near a school.
Bruh, look at this baby. Just a sweet old baby, man. Wow.
Where students heard the gunfire as well. Channel 2's Dave Huddleston is live near that scene on Anderson Avenue in Southwest Atlanta. Dave, the mayor is calling for an end to this kind of gun violence.
There they go, calling it gun violence again. Can we just keep it a buck? The only people in Atlanta really who are doing this is super gremlins. I mean, seriously, we got so much evidence of the types of super gremlins who are out here raising hell, and it's the guns' fault, man. It's still the guns' fault. When is it going to be the super gremlins' fault?
It's just a heartbreaking story, Linda. You can see behind me, too. The police are still here on the scene hours after that shooting. Again, a little baby lost his life here in Northwest Atlanta. The mom and dad gave me a picture of little Grayson Matthew. They didn't want to go on camera, but that baby was shot and killed during a drive-by shooting this afternoon off Anderson Avenue. We were also standing right there when Mayor Dickens came by and talked with the family, offering condolences to the family and support for them as well. The police chief also coming by. He told me this is a hard one.
Wow, man. And it looks like this is the first stop of Mayor Dickens' murder campaign, which he's going to have to go on, because there's going to be a lot more murders just like this in the city of Atlanta until they actually face the issue of these super gremlins on Demon Time.
The death of Grayson Matthew. The mom told me she was caught in the middle as 2 cars were shooting at each other, and one of the bullets went through the trunk of her car, hitting the baby. Mayor Dickens said before meeting with the family, those responsible will not get away.
The children are bearing this burden with their lives. And I'm here to ask and to demand that it stop right now.
That's all you got for him, Dre? My dog, that just ain't gonna cut it. Just asking the super gremlins to stop? You gotta come harder than that, B.
And as you mentioned, also near the crime scene, a school, KIPP Academy. I talked with one of the students that was in class. He said it was warm, so the windows were up. They heard what they thought were firecrackers. And of course, we now know it turned out to be gunshots. Suspects are still on the loose. Reporting live from Northwest Atlanta, Dave Huddleston, Channel 2 Action News.
A 6-month-old baby killed in a shooting at an Atlanta convenience store just 3 hours ago. Paolo Soro live near Anderson Park with the latest. Paolo?
Sheba, yes, a terrible story. You know, Atlanta police tell us this all started when 2 people were shooting at each other. That 6-month-old caught in the middle, shot and killed just before 3 o'clock tonight. I'll step out of the way so that you can see where this all unfolded today. It was just outside of this Food Mart convenience store on Anderson Road at the Dixie Hills neighborhood in Northwest Atlanta. As you can see, still many detectives are out here. Actually, Mayor Andre Dickens was out here too. They tell me their priority today is to find who did this. Who were those two people involved in gun violence that were shooting at each other and resulted in this terrible ending. Investigators are trying to use video evidence, and they're interviewing people in the area. I actually spoke to one neighbor who lives just about 15 feet from the Food Mart. She said she wonders if the people responsible were from this neighborhood.
Probably. Probably. And I think she's on to something, that neighbor is, because she probably seen these super gremlins on Demon Time hanging out outside of every little store, sagging their pants, doing the most, hooping and hollering, drinking, toting sticks, making little music videos. So she probably seen him, and you know, it seems like she's got the right train of thought.
And that's actually what investigators are trying to figure out too.
So a series of gunshots. Immediately my heart, you know, it just began to break. We actually we both kind of teared up. It's like, you know, here we go again, another life loss, another, you know, senseless death.
This hurts. This is a 6-month-old child that we've lost. And so we have a lot of folks on the scene. We're gonna solve this case, and we're gonna bring justice to this life.
Now, Mayor Dickens says this was the third child shot under 6 years old in Atlanta this year alone. The 6-month-old in this case was taken to Grady Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. But again, we know this involved two people who were shooting at each other, and that 6-month-old just caught in the middle. Police actually tell us that this will be an all-night affair. They will stay out here until they figure out who exactly was responsible for that. So, of course, we'll keep you updated as we get more information. We'll send it back to you guys.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.